Hey everybody, welcome back to Mike's Wooden Things and Stuff. New series starting on the channel today, where we are going to go into various species of wood and talk about their working properties and their technical properties, and we're going to get a little bit nerdy, but in the cool kind of way. Well, cool for me. Cool for you, hopefully, too. Alright, let's start with American Black Cherry, Prunus serratina. This is the standard, if you go into a wood store and you see a pile of cherry, that's what we're talking about today. I'm going to chuck this blank up on the lathe. We're going to spin it, hopefully make something decent out of it. And while I'm doing that, we're going to talk about how's it turn? Cherry. Let's go. Come on.
So what to say about cherry when it comes to working with it on a lathe? I guess I'll spoil the ending, and I'll just let you know that cherry is an absolute joy to work with. But let's talk about why. In terms of technical properties, the hardness of cherry is fairly soft for a hardwood. It's around 990 on the Janka scale, which in the grand scheme of things is fairly low for a hardwood. It's also relatively light for a hardwood. The average dried weight of it is about 35 pounds per cubic foot. But these are not the things that make it such a joy to work. The thing that makes it so lovely as a turning wood, and as a wood to work in general, is the homogeneous nature of it. The ring structure, the pore structure of cherry is a semi-ring to diffuse porous wood, which means that it's a very, very consistent, homogeneous wood in terms of the consistency of it, the grain structure and the pore structure. While you're cutting it with a tool, you're not running into areas of different densities. When you look at it in terms of, like, let's put it up next to something like Douglas fir, which is much softer on the Janka scale, but it's a much bigger pain in the ass to work with, because it got sections of it, the difference between the early and late growth sections of the wood itself. Look at these beautiful curly shavings. Those are coming off like that because of the consistent nature of the wood. Whereas something like Douglas fir, it's basically it's got layers of like concrete and then cheddar cheese, and then concrete and then cheddar cheese. So as you're cutting it, there are these stark differences in how the wood is reacting to a tool. And here I am, I'm working with a carbide tool. Cherry works equally well with either high-speed steel traditional tools or with carbide tools. Depending on what you like to use, you're gonna have a wonderful, wonderful time while you're working with cherry. It's just an absolute joy to work, and like that's the reason that I have turned so much of it. It's probably the wood that I have turned more than any other species of wood. Alright, we got this guy flipped around. Let's start digging out the inside of it, and we'll talk about going into the face grain of wood on the lathe. Again, because of the homogeneous nature of the wood and the fact that you're not running into different densities of wood as you're turning it, you can hog out the inside of a turning quite quickly, because you don't really, I mean, I don't want to say don't be careful, because that's bad advice, but you don't need to be that concerned because of the consistent nature of cherry as a wood. As long as you've got a piece that isn't full of knots and defects and cracks and stuff, you can be fairly aggressive while you're clearing away excess material until you get down to sort of your finished passes and you're trying to get that nice finished surface. You can really get material out of these things relatively quickly and move on to those beauty passes, I guess, the ones that you really, really love, where all the nice wispy shavings come off and you're trying to get your nice finish cuts. And again, whether you're working with traditional high-speed steel tools or carbide tools, they both work equally well in terms of both on the outside of bowls, on the inside of bowls, in spindle turning and bowl turning. It's just a fantastic wood to work with if you're just starting to get into turning and you're wondering what species should I be looking at to get going. Definitely consider cherry as if not the top of your list, definitely near the top of your list in terms of beginner woods. I always try to have some cherry with me when I'm teaching classes and give it to the students as an option, and I tell them this is probably the one that you're the most likely to have success with right away. And in terms of finish, it takes finish beautifully. All kinds of finish work awesome on cherry. Oil finishes, water-based finishes, lacquers, polyurethanes. It can get a little bit splotchy if you're doing something ridiculous like adding dyes or stains, because why would you do such a ridiculous thing? But yeah, it finishes up nice. This is just a quick buff with some custom liquid wax, and we're good to go. That turned out pretty okay. Yeah. Unity, go cherry!
So that's my thoughts on cherry as a turning wood. Clearly, I'm a fan. Like I said, it is probably the wood that I have turned more than any other. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What are your thoughts on turning cherry? If you've turned it, leave those comments down in the comment section below. Let me know what your favorite woods are to turn, or what you'd like to see me do here on How Is It Turn, in terms of talking about turning woods. I'm happy if I've got it. I'll let you know. I'll spin something out of it. And if I don't, but I can get my hands on it, I'm happy to do that and talk about it. But there may be times on this series where I might turn something for the first time and we find out together how I feel about it. But yeah, that's cherry. It's a joy. It's a pleasure every time I get to work with it. And I'm sure it will be for you as well. That's it for this one. We'll see you on the next one. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe, everybody. Bye for now. Go grab a chunk of cherry and fire it up on your lathe. It's a good time. All right. Hey everybody, welcome back to Mike's Wooden Things and Stuff. Starting a new series today on the channel where I'm going to talk about different wood species and their working properties, and particularly in terms of how they work when you spin them up on the lathe. It's called How's It Turn. That's why it's called that. Really, really good job. Really, really good job. Hey everybody, welcome back to Mike's Wooden Things and Stuff. Starting a new series today here on the channel where I'm going to talk about various species of wood and their working properties and their technical properties, and particularly how they work when you chuck them up on the lathe and stick a sharp piece of metal in them while they're spinning really fast. It's called How's It Turn, and today we are going to start where we need to start, with this chunk of cherry. I'm going to slap this chunk of American black cherry up on the lathe today, and we'll see if we can make something out of it. And while I'm doing that, I'll talk about how I like working with cherry. As always, with everything on this channel, these are purely my own opinions. Feel free to disagree down in the comment section. Do it respectfully, if you don't mind. But yeah, let's all help each other out. Let's get together and feel alright. Okay. Hey everybody, welcome back to Mike's Wooden Things and Stuff. Starting a new series here on the channel today. Why did I new? Yeah. No, species itself is singular and plural. Species is... should be speci though. Speci would be cooler. Hey everybody, welcome back to Mike's Wooden Things and Stuff. Today we are starting a new series here on the channel where we are going to that's what we're